All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Get Connected Filmmaker podcast, if you will. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
I'd like to start this conversation with just a random question about your projects. I'd like to know what were some of the challenges you guys had during production and discuss the Atlanta landscape for filmmaking. So anybody can start.
For me, my biggest challenge was just trying to figure out how to make a movie, like complete it. Because I had started in one movie, but I'd never finished it. So I wasn't sure how to get through the entire process. And that was frightening as hell, learning out how to do that. But it was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah, mine was editing for me, because I'm not a natural editor. And yeah, so for me it was wrestling with all the footage, figuring out what I liked and how to make sure I was getting what I wanted with a tiny amount of like expertise that I had actually in the editing room. So yeah, that was my biggest struggle.
Mine was set locations. We had we were scattered all over the metro Atlanta area, and mine's a no budget to low budget movie, micro budget movie, and so I was trying to get all my locations for free, which I was successful with, but it's meant a little more travel. But the hardest location was the jail scene, which luckily Gwinnett County Jail came through for us very last minute, like on a Thursday for the next day's shoot. So we got real lucky with that. So set locations on a no budget is most difficult. Probably had in the course of the filming too, where we had signed agreements for locations and 4 to 5 cancellations before we actually showed up. So that was kind of difficult too. All right.
Well, for me, this was actually my first film, and the most challenging was getting actors to actually show up. They were like calling, not showing up. I was freaking out. Yeah, going crazy. So then I was able to work with a great director, like, look, we can just write something else in and we'll keep it moving. So I got lucky. That was my biggest challenge.
Cool. Talk about y'all's experience working in the Atlanta industry as far as being able to, do you guys find that the Atlanta community is coming together, or is there a lot of competition out there? Like, give me some ideas of how the networking's been going for y'all, how you guys have pulled your teams together, and just gonna give me an idea of that process for you guys. Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, like, I think that what I was saying before was that this whole area does work together, does mesh well. The biggest thing as far as competition is just the sheer amount of actors that I've found. Like, I've met so many actors that get connected. I had no idea there were that many people trying to get into that as far as professionals in just the Atlanta area. But they also are all so supportive of each other. Like, when we're on set, like when we're shooting The Patient, you know, I'm talking to Mika and Justin and blah, 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 and then, like, I went to go shoot something for somebody else and was showing a little bit of The Patient to them, and they were like, oh, man, she's killing it. She's doing such a great job. And it's like, so you're not jealous of the fact she got this part. You're happy for her and that she's kicking butt. That's awesome. That's what is going to make a that's what I think is going to differentiate the Atlanta market from, like, LA or something like that, because everybody here is not trying to fight against each other. Everybody wants everyone to succeed. And that's just awesome.
Yeah, there's something sort of like unofficial about Atlanta that I like, you know, and I think you go to a location and a lot of people, they don't treat you like, oh, you're another filmmaker, so we have a set price for what filmmakers, you know, need to use our location. There's a coffee shop that I've filmed a couple things at, and they're super chill, and you just go in and they're like, don't bother people, and you're fine. And so we went in and filmed, and we got a lot out of it. And I like that. I think that it creates a scrappy sort of spirit among the film community, where you bring together a lot of resources that definitely don't have maybe the glitz or the shine of like a Hollywood production, but I think that makes it all the better in a lot of ways.
More interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see people working together on stuff, if I'm shooting somewhere and you're like, hey, can you come here and give me a hand?
Yeah.
I think that's easy in this community for everybody to do. Everybody's like, yeah, man, I'm free at 12. I can come by there for an hour and swing by and help you out. Yeah, That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I think it's because the film community like knows the film community, but a lot of people in Atlanta don't acknowledge it, haven't acknowledged it yet as like a film town. So because of that, there is within the community a lot of people who are sort of like, they sort of have like a we're with the team mentality. Yeah, I like that.
Right.
How about you?
Well, for me, I'm kind of like new to Atlanta. I'm from Ohio, but for my film, I've been getting a lot of support, and I've been successful with, you know, getting everybody to pitch in and help me out and connect me with this person and that person. So it's been really a great success for me.
In my case, the other directors that I use as creative consultants or lucky enough to get them on my team is incredible. From first project to the current project, you know, I'll meet at someone's house, we'll spend hours or even days there, and we'll talk about how they would shoot a certain scene or what kind of props I need. The support has just been incredible. There's no competition, which is amazing. You know, grow up playing sports, whatever, it's always competitive, but the support that everybody wants everybody to be successful. To me, that's the whole thing, is incredible. And we're really lucky in Atlanta that there's incredible talent. You know, the actors are incredible. When we cast, you know, we could have picked 5 leads. You know, and I thought we were going to have a problem with picking our lead because of a lot of emotions, but there are incredible talent here in Atlanta.
It's insane. It's the sheer level of talent in this. It's so good that the last time I went to get, or one of the last times I went to get connected, I saw a movie. Brent was in it, and AJ Simone was in it. Mm-hmm. And she was so good, like I actually was like, I'm writing something for her. Yeah. And then I saw like 2 other movies that same night. I'm like, holy crap, I could write something for him, and I could write something for her. There's too much variety, but that's really a good problem to have.
Yeah, I would love for you guys to write things like the fact that you came to get connected, watch the movies, and wrote something, you know, for the talent. That was really cool. That was a cool night. I remember that. The production process for you guys, I'd like to know, how did y'all prepare for the productions? Did you just storyboard everything out? Did you do a shot list? I mean, talk about how you scheduled your movie, how you picked the locations, and you know, even decided on the script. Like, did your script dictate the locations, or did you get the locations first and write a script around the locations? So I'd like to know y'all's process on that.
Well, for me, I wrote so I could keep it cheap. So the story I wrote, I made sure I wrote it all takes place in one room, so that I could go, hey, this is not going to require any money really, as far as, you know, going out and finding this location and that location and shooting at this time and that time. I can just bring everybody into one, and just trying to figure out how to, as far as putting the production together, I didn't really know how to. I tried once before and didn't do everything right. I learned from that mistake and was able to go, okay, well, I need to make sure I've got my actors on board on what their dates are, what's cool with them, first and foremost, because I got no production if I got no actors. There's no point in it. Number 2 is, I know everything takes place in one place. Let me just write out my list of what do I need for this. Again, my story, fortunately, is incredibly simple as far as what I needed. It was mostly like, I can get everything I need from 2 or 3 different people, and I'm set. I don't know about everybody else, because everybody else seems a lot more complicated than what I did as far as what I was shooting. But I didn't storyboard anything. I tried to, but I quickly learned that the storyboarding software that I tried to use, I don't know how to. I couldn't even draw a circle on it correctly, so there's no point in me trying to storyboard it other than drawing some stick figures and going, okay, well, this is what stick figure A is supposed to be a boy, stick figure B is a girl. Let's figure out where they go, and then we're done. And then from there, it was just getting the rehearsal. Like, we had 2 full-on, like, let's move through the areas rehearsals, and then it was shoot day. I mean, we kept it as simple as possible.
Yeah, I had it with storyboards. It's the same way with me. Sometimes I'll show the actors, like, I'll try to explain to them what I want, and I'll be like, yes, we're in the storyboard here. And they'll say, well, which one's me? And I'm like, well, you're the girl. You have the long hair. Because that's the only distinguishing factor. It's like a circle, and there's hair, and that's how I know that's where the girl is. And that's where she's supposed to be in the frame. Because, yeah, I don't touch that storyboarding software either. Yeah. But, yeah, I found, for me, there's always a little touch of, like, autobiographical something in a movie.
Yeah.
So that usually tends to make me finding. That's a giant excuse for using my house for filming, so I used a lot of that.
Talk about
and
how
it's so
you were
much
telling us
cheaper.
before about how you found your DP and that whole random process.
Yeah. Well, it was through Get Connected that it's kind of a blur, but there were like there were a bunch of people that I met one night. And I added a bunch of them to Facebook. And I think through them, I met this other guy, and I don't know where we agreed on like music and stuff. And for like a year, it just kind of been like, yeah, I liked each other's statuses and stuff. And so I asked him for help with this project, and I didn't ask him specifically. I just asked if he knew anybody, and he volunteered himself. And then when it worked out, it worked out. It was like,
great.
yeah, I've never had a DP before. It's usually me with a camera, and then directing, and then or someone.
Isn't that nice to have somebody else to be able to?
Ooh, man, never again will I be doing everything. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, my DP actually is a pretty good artist, so he helped me with the storyboarding. And so we would basically do the scene we're going to shoot the upcoming week. I would hit YouTube, and when we shot our bar scene, I just looked up as many bar scenes I could possibly look up to see how they handle their dialogue with the background actors and extras and stuff like that. And so I'll find a clip of a scene that I would like, and I'll say, okay, from this second to this second, I like the way they shot this scene and stuff like that. And then we would go through and look at our script, and then figure out the score, do the storyboard based off our script, of course. So, I'd look for influences from as many movies, and they don't have to be big name movies. I mean, amazingly, you can find some really good work on other short films. Yeah. So YouTube was a big tool for me.
Was there an underlying theme to the stuff that you were looking at? Were they all like a certain kind of movie, or were they made by certain kinds of people, or with a certain budget?
I had basically 4 guys at a table, sitting at one table, celebrating that their wife announced they were pregnant that day, or he found out they were pregnant that day, and they're out celebrating for that. So I wanted them to be as natural as possible, so there was a lot of freelance going on with this. So it was a real happy, cheerful thing, and a lot of empty pictures and shot glasses, and so progressing, you can see that they're getting too drunk to drive, type thing. But so that was what we were doing, and looking at it, when do you shoot over the shoulder, when do you shoot with two-person shot or a one-person shot, and when do you get the close-ups when they're really drunk or when they're not, when they're working their way to it, and so there's a lot of that we were going through with our storyboard on that particular scene.
Cool. Well, for me, it wasn't no storyboard. I'm no good with that at all. I actually went through Craigslist to find my director, but it didn't work out. Everybody who was supposed to show up canceled on me the week before we were supposed to shoot. So then a lady in my acting class had connected me with Mr. Peoples, and I met with him and hired him, and we went forward with it, and now it's done.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Just out of curiosity, for me, the day before we shot my first movie, I sat, before I went to bed, I took my laptop and I set it on my lap and I put in my favorite movie. Does anybody else do that? The movie that I popped in Fight Club and Clerks and watched them back to back, and I was just like, okay, I need to make something that's a tenth as good as that, and I'll be good. I was just curious. What about anybody else? What did you watch that made you go through the process?
Get you pumped up.
For me, there was one movie that I was watching, and I had this idea for this movie, and I was wrestling with it for a long time, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I saw this movie. It's called Upstream Color. It came out last year, and it finally hit on demand. I'm sitting watching it, and I'm watching the way they did it, and it's non-linear, and it's really strange, but the way he's telling the story through his use of Shane Carruth is the filmmaker, and the way he uses montage to sort of give you an idea of what's going on without telling you anything was just beautiful to me. And I was sitting there watching it, and And I remember sitting and making my roommates watch it a week before. It really is an excuse just for me to rewatch the movie so I could sit and just take notes on how I was like, how do you, there's like no dialogue. Because I'm the exact opposite of you. Like I start writing dialogue and then I hate it and then I just fill it in with nonsensical cuts, right? Like that just like are added in for a montage.
Yeah.
And so the way he did it, his movie didn't have a lot of dialogue, and I remember really responding to it. So I'd watch that movie like 3 or 4 times before doing this one.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Another Earth. Oh, I love watching that movie, and I'll watch it over and over again because it was a micro to no budget type movie that made it big. I mean, and the directors made it. The lead actress was in like 2 other movies, including a Richard Gere movie that I don't think has been. I think it's still in pre-production. But when you can watch, small filmmakers make something that turns out successful like that, that motivated me a little bit. But on the bar scene, we probably watch Young Bloods, old Rob Lowe movie from Patrick.
In the 80s.
Yeah, early.
Yeah. Oh God. Hockey player, right?
Right. the hockey
Yes.
scene.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
But I probably watched their bar scene, over 100 times. Over and over again. One, you don't want it to be too much like it, but just to get the way that they shot it. And I watched other ones too, and I kept going back to Youngbloods. So and that's just for that one particular scene. But
Okay.
Cool.
How much time?
For me, I didn't watch anything. I just kind of went off my past and put it all in a film, and that's how I created it.
Cool. Let's talk about your stories a little bit. Feel free if you don't want to, that's okay. But I want to know why, what the process is for, it's okay. What the process is for you guys of deciding on this particular movie to direct. Like, Brent, you had a kind of cool thing you were saying about how you think of something and you stew on it for a month and then you let it boil. Like, let's start there.
Okay. For me, a lot of it is, I usually have a certain amount of things that I'm kind of obsessing over at one time or another. And so a lot of times it'll start with some really basic, really vague idea. And so in this case, I was really interested in making a movie about a couple who are in a relationship, and the man is in a very typical hitman, like total dude lifestyle for a movie. But then they switch somehow, and that was honestly it. There was like no story. It was just like that's how I wanted to see her take on that role. I wanted to watch her take on that role, and then I was. For me, it was like I was talking to a girl that I was dating at the time, and she was talking about how relationships, she feels like they just kind of, she feels like she doesn't really know who she is anymore, and that sort of clicked. And I thought it would be interesting if you're having roles switch, maybe have a person in the movie. So anyway, it went from an idea to a conversation, and it ping ponged back and forth, and then eventually it ended, like I said earlier, with just me watching a movie. And then eventually it became this weird sort of unique thing. I think I liked it a lot because it was based on so many different weird weird variables that it just became its own thing. I don't think I have control over it anymore. It's breathing now. Yeah. How about you guys?
I understand that feeling. My thing was like, for me, with the patient was I wanted to write something that was completely different than what I normally do. Normally, like I said before, my thing is comedy. It's what I watch. It's what when I act. That's what I want to do is more comedy than anything else. That's what I like to do. I like to see people laugh. But I wanted to try to test myself and see if I could get past that genre and do something different, which is what horror is. I think as far as you can go away from comedy, it's going to be hard. Although they mesh really well a lot of times. But because there's some dark humor in this movie. There's some scenes that I'm going to be sitting there in the theater with my finger going, please God, let me hear at least one person laugh. Just one laugh and I'm good. That joke was worth it. But for me, the patient came to me from that idea, and then I just had the basic, okay, well, what would be the most terrifying thing that could happen to you? Oh, you could be kidnapped and tortured. That's pretty terrifying and horrifying. Let's see where we can go from that. And just when I write myself, it's a very weird process. I write in bulk. I'll sit down and I'll write 4, 5, 6 pages in 30 minutes, and then I've got to take a break for an hour, and I can't write anymore. Usually that night, it just wears me out from that process. And it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 days before I write again. but I'll have to write again when that urge hits me. I don't have enough patience yet to sit down and do that whole, like, let me just make this my thing, and I'm just going to sit here and write this until it's done. And I don't know, that's pretty much it. I mean, I just taking ideas from, like I said, what could be the worst thing that could happen to you, and then how can we make it worse during the process, and taking the basic idea and making it even more horrifying.
When did your comedy instincts kick in the writing process?
There was a scene, and it's a really intense part, and you'll see it on Thursday. Trust me, you'll know exactly where I'm at, especially after having talked about this. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. It's really dark, and dude is saying some really nasty things, and he's about to do something horrible. I don't want to give it away yet, but he's doing something horrible to her, and then he just says this one line, and it just, you should be like, hopefully if it works right, then you'll be like, huh, I shouldn't be laughing right now. I love inappropriate humor, and it's beautiful. I don't like the awkward humor, but inappropriate's good.
With mine, I read a short story on Amazon called No More Forgiveness, and I know the author, and probably about 3.5 years ago, I got in touch with him and said, is there any chance that I can shoot this as a short film? And he said he'd love to see it happen, and then I asked him if he'd write the screenplay, which he is a screenplay writer, and he said yes. And then I had a couple major surgeries that kind of delayed things, and so it got put on the back burner, and he was doing other writing, and I got in touch with him probably about 3 months before we went into principal photography. So we got the screenplay and took off from it. But what I look for in a screenplay is I want a movie. This is my second horror film, but mine have good messages, or at least that's what I'm trying to present, in my movies. So hopefully it's something that you can learn from.
Well, my story is definitely personal and true story, and I'm definitely trying to send a message and inspire I don't want to give it away, inspire other people who has been through similar situations. I'll just say that.
Very good.
All right.
So just not to give a specific of what the story's about, but when did you realize that this particular element of your life was like appropriate to be told in a, did it kind of hit you one day, or was it like a slowly brewing process?
It actually did hit me one day when the same thing actually happened to somebody that means everything to me. So then I had to face it to be able to help them. Understand?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you had to see that this is affecting to other people besides you. Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Hearing this brings up our biggest challenge on our project. One of our biggest projects was to do the trailer. How much do you reveal of your movie? We probably did it over and over again a dozen times. Do you have a trailer for yours? So in your trailer, are you giving out, how much do you hold back on your trailer?
Well, from watching it, from seeing all the comments and everything like that from YouTube, I have over 1,600 views from that. Fantastic. And everybody is just like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see what happened. What is he talking about? So we gave like little sneak peeks of little, something where you'll be like, oh my goodness, what's about to happen? So I don't know. We kept it interesting but short.
How about you guys?
I don't have a trailer. I think I'm going to make one. My movie's really kind of strange throughout. I don't know I could really make it without spoiling something. So I think I might just use a scene and just sort of have the scene happen. Yeah. Those are the trailers I like too. Ones that just give you like a mood of the movie. So yeah, because to answer your question, I have no clue how I would do that.
I think our next project, the screenwriter, I'm going to tell him I want you to write the trailer script as well.
Right.
And we'll have that from the beginning. Not that we have to have different footage. I found in my experience is that I'd rather produce the trailer after I'm finished with the film, because then you don't have to do the work twice. You get the film the way you want it. You got all your color corrections and everything the way you want it. That type thing. But I'm definitely going to have a script for a trailer the next project.
So you have done a trailer before?
This one was our first. Well, this is my second film, Both of them had a trailer, but both of them were done post, after the film was completed.
Okay, so did you kind of like take some from the beginning, middle, and end, like
Yeah,
just throw it
basically,
in there?
we took a little bit of, basically we did electronic edit or whatever, with help of some other director friends. That's another example of people helping you out.
Yeah.
I let him watch the film, and I said, how would you cut this? And he would say, okay, I'm going to make up something here, 13 seconds to 17 seconds, 52 seconds to, a minute and 2 seconds, that type thing. And he went through it, and we did the same thing, because we didn't, one of the big things in this movie is, do we want to expose, I guess I'll say it, the ghost or not in our trailer, and that was what tore us apart in the whole trailer part of it. And we went over like I said, we did trailer after trailer after trailer, and we're like, nah, I didn't like it, and so we finally decided that the very last scene we're going to show a little clip of the ghost,
Right.
So that was our biggest challenge. The trailer was really difficult. Making the movie was a lot easier than making the trailer.
For me on mine, because mine's, yours is a horror as well. Mine's more of it's a horror, but I like to think of mine as more of a psychological thriller, because there's so much dialogue. But it's like, what do you give away?
Right.
I don't want to give away too much stuff. I'm fortunate, I kept showing Mika's face, because that's my poster. You see that she's all messed up in the face. But oh yeah, that was a 3-day process of making that trailer, just working on just that before I even started on the movie. I edited my trailer before I edited the movie, because I wanted to get my trailer out there.
Right.
But it terrified me, because it's like, God, what if I'm giving away too much? People go, oh, well, I know the story now. I'm done.
On your projects, do y'all do the trailer first, or the edit the film first?
I love the idea of editing a trailer first, and I love the idea of writing a trailer. No, I think it's to do something to where you introduce the characters and you kind of stop where you reveal too much. But I love the idea of doing just like doing a scene, from your thing. I think the trailer. I think we probably agree. Like, I don't like trailers that show the entire movie, and you feel like you've seen the movie. When you go see it, it's like you know what's coming, because this character survives this horrific thing. And so yeah, switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about the event, and I want to talk about Get Connected a little bit. What you guys are looking forward to, and then I'd like to know your experiences with the event so far, and if there's anything that you feel like in the course of talking that we can improve on, or ways that we can even synergize even more opportunities for folks, creating better connections. So, are you excited about screening the movie, and what are your thoughts there?
I am stoked about screening my movie. I'm so excited to see it on the screen that I don't even I'm terrified and nervous. I'm so excited to see it on there, and it's all come through from Get Connected. Everybody, either in some way, shape, or form, I've met everybody there. Bobby Peoples was huge part of helping me make this movie. He helped me find my stars. He helped me do the sound. He's helped me in the editing process. If I had not gone to Get Connected, I would never have met him. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now with a finished movie. Meeting people there is the most fun thing. I'm a terribly shy person, even though I talk a lot right now, believe it or not. Get me in a big crowd, I'm just like, I'm going to shrink and violet. But Get Connected, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's just trying to make that connection, get to know each other. How can I help you? How can you help me? How can we make this person rise up and this person? And that's what it's all supposed to be all about. I love it, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to show Get Connected, because Get Connected is such a nice place to especially to just put your film first too, because sometimes you finish a project, and for you it's so it's such a moment, and you feel so good, but then you don't know what to do with it, and then you might not get picked up, or you might put it online and nobody watches it, or something. All this stuff. Get Connected is such a great way, because you put it in, and there's people who watch it, and they look at it, and they give you a response to it, and then you talk to other people about it, and then you hear that other people are in the same boat as you, and it's nice to sort of have that ability to instantly have an audience, but also have an audience that is really actively engaged. A community engaged in what you do, and who are going to watch what you do with that much more awareness. You know, I don't know. I like it. Yeah.
Well, this is my second film that we're showing at or screening at Get Connect, and we're using this as our world premiere. So that's how excited we are. We didn't, I didn't want to show it anywhere else first. This is the place to be, and again, because of the community, you meet new actors or talent. If it's in front of the screen or in front of the camera or behind the camera, it's a neat place because everybody has the same goal, right? And that's the network, and also, I do like that you get immediate response because when you're finished, you get a few minutes after the film to get up in front of everyone and recognize your talent that you had in the film, and people can ask questions. So I thought that was that's a nice touch to it.
I have never been to Get Connected yet. Oh, it sucks, but I have. I know, but all I've heard is great things about Get Connected, and I can't wait to be able to come and see what everything is about. So I hate I can't come, but I'm excited my film will be shown there. So
did you make the film? You made the film before hearing about Get Connected, or you?
Yes.
Cool. So
yes.
It just sort of worked out where
exactly.
You finished it. That's great.
Yes.
Well, in the spirit of keeping this kind of short, it was nice. It was a great conversation. I think this is a better way to approach this, where we just kind of talk candidly about our projects and just talk about the industry and talk about our struggles and see where we're going and how we can work our community bigger and better. So I'd like for you guys to spend like maybe 30 seconds to a minute talking about your movie, what in your name, your title of your movie, and little synopsis of what it's about if you can. So Jay, we can start with you.
My name is Jay Ward. My film is The Patient. It's a short psychological horror. And that's really all I need to say. Just come see it because you're going to love it. And come see everybody else's because it's just going to be awesome too. That's it.
My name is Brent Lambert-Zaffino. My movie is called Just Passing Through, and it's about, what is it about? It's about it's about a hitman and a girl that fall in love, and then you watch what happens after that. So come see it to find out what happens after that.
There you go.
My name's Bruce Downs, and the film that I'm involved in is No More Forgiveness. It's a psychological thriller, horror type film. It's about great love loss, and without spoiling the movie, I'm going to encourage you to come and check it out for yourself. It's 19 minutes long.
Cool. My name is Toni Dixon. My movie is called From Hidden Pain to Freedom, and it's basically about a little girl who's caught up in a world of emotional, sexual, and physical abuse, and she's been hiding for so long, and she wants to be free. So come out and check my story out.
That's awesome. For you guys and for anyone listening, if y'all ever need actors, or if you have an audition, and we're trying to build up our little Sin Central situation where actors would come and meet you for like a minute and y'all get to pull the talent. And if y'all have any projects in the future, we're looking for as you grow your production companies, hope you guys continue to come to Get Connected, even if when you make it to a certain level and you can come back and give back and so forth. We're always looking for panels and workshops. I want to thank Autumn Bailey, who's our co-founder of Get Connected, and my sound engineer, Lillian Brooks, who's a wonderful actress as well. And on behalf of Get Connected, we can't wait to see you Thursday, and thanks for tuning in to our podcast, and we hope to do this again next month. So thank you.